I grew up for the first part of my life in New York, where I was one of only a handful of classmates who were not Italian. My friends, my frenemies, my first crushes, and my first love of my elementary school life were all Italian. There were very little times where I felt the difference between us, and maybe I was in ignorant bliss, but I distinctly remember the first time I realized the difference. It must have been January or so, and we were learning about Chinese New Year. So everyone was encouraged to dress in red. We were given red envelopes, and I don't think we were given any money, unfortunately. But either way, it was fun to learn about a holiday I'd never heard of before. Fast forward to a few days later when our little school's newspaper unintentionally had me as the story representing for Chinese New Year. And all I could think was, but I'm not Chinese. Does it even matter if I say that? No one told me directly, but somewhere along the way, I learned that it was better to hide, to just fit in, to blend in. It was as if I needed to forget or deny my cultural heritage so that I could be American. And after years of hurt from my family, my extended family, an ex, and my immigrant church, I started to hate my heritage and my culture. Oh, you know us as welcoming and hospitable? It's probably because they're waiting for something in return. Think of a good characteristic, any good thing, and I could quickly counter it with something negative. There was so much that I didn't agree with that really hurt in my culture. So what did I do for many years? Let me learn about every other culture and celebrate them. And working at GSPD with global students was the perfect place to do that. But there I was, encouraging others to embrace and celebrate their culture as I was rejecting my own. Clearly, there was so much healing needed for that very tender space of brokenness. And in God's kindness, He provided healing communities and friendships for me. My good friend Melika, who shares the Filipino culture with me, enjoys so much of the big families and parties with all the good food and always the openness that another person is welcome to join. But in the midst of that, God also provided Taro Talk, the affinity group for Asian women here. And there I was really able to see and believe, okay, we can hold the good and the bad of our cultures and still have hope. The funny thing is, whenever I'm in the Philippines, it is so obvious how American I am. I understand Tagalog, but I'm not fluent in the language. I use English grammar, which means whatever I say comes out backwards. And clearly, I was not Filipino enough. But in the US, I'm not American enough either. So where do I belong? For a long time, it felt like the answer was nowhere. And it was so powerful to learn that the opposite of belonging is fitting in. Fitting in where we are asked to change ourselves, to betray ourselves, and then we'll be accepted. But belonging, true belonging, invites us always to be who we are. And part of who I am is Filipino American. And it's good to be proud of that again. I'm Filipino American just as God made me to be, stuck in the in-between, holding two cultures, bridging between, and always looking for ways to reflect God more fully. Oh, and one last thing, in case you didn't know, that purple dessert that's so popular now, ube, that's from the Philippines. And I'm proud of that too.